Welcome back to the studio. I am painting today. I am working on a series. This is actually a teapot painting, although it doesn't look anything like a teapot yet. And I have a still life, and I'm thinking I might want to work on painting a rabbit, which maybe I'll get to, maybe not. But thanks for joining. I have my coffee, grab a tea or something cool, and we'll paint along and we'll just chat a bit. It's nice to have you in my studio. I have been working on this series for the last month or so. And it is, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's one of those things where I just felt like I had to paint it, so I don't really know where it's going to go or what the purpose is, but I'm painting them anyway. That often is the case when you are a creator. You just have to paint them. It all sort of started, gosh, I don't even know. I think I wanted to do some abstracts, and then I have a real love of teapots, and so the abstract paintings became more of a, I don't know, a still life, I guess, once you add something that's like from life, right? And I've enjoyed them. I've enjoyed doing them, and I enjoy painting fast. You'll see my interest is never in perfection. I'm only ever interested in texture and color and shape and line. So yeah, that's kind of what you see when I'm painting. And I probably won't finish this today, but you know, we'll get a good start. We'll get a good start at it again. They come and go. I work on multiple paintings usually at once. I'm never painting just one thing, and that's because, well, things have to dry. That's a practical reason for that. Things have to dry, and also, you know, creativity comes in sort of, I don't want to say waves and bursts, but a little bit. And so if I have something that's really loose, kind of like this painting going, and then I have something that's a little tighter, then I can work on those little tighter paintings. Or maybe I want to work on a drawing because that, you know, I feel like not having as many supplies out or not making quite as mess. So it's nice to have multiple things. I'm really fortunate in that I have my own studio space in my house. This is the former bedroom of my daughter. And when she left for college, I didn't turn it into a studio first. It just became my office because my office had been upstairs, and there's no heat or air upstairs. Our central heat and air doesn't go to the, which was formerly an attic space, which makes sense why it was never heated or cooled, but it was unbearable to work either in the summer or in the winter. And so when she moved out, I moved in, and that was many, many years ago. And then when I started painting at 50, I turned it into my studio. So it's really nice to have an in-home studio. Although sometimes I think maybe I would do more work, I'd create more work if I had to go to a studio. But maybe not. I don't know. I'm a bit of a homebody. So anyway, I don't know. Do you have a studio space in your house? Do you have a place that you go? Do you like to do plein air? What kind of work do you like to do? I know that for me, I do a little bit of both. I do some urban sketching out with a group once a month, and then I like to paint almost every day, at least a little bit, maybe even just 10 or 15 minutes. But it's 10 or 15 minutes that, you know, is spent on my own creativity, and I really relish that. I really, really relish that. So yeah, so this is coming along, actually. This is coming along. Can't wait to see where it goes. I have recently discovered the show, or I guess competition show from Britain. I guess Sky Arts, which maybe is a channel that they have. I'm only familiar with BBC, so I don't really know. But they have this competition show that's like in its 11th year called Portrait Artist of the Year. And I'm only on season 2. There's like, I don't know, 13 seasons or something. A lot of seasons. And oh my gosh, to watch those painters paint is just amazing. They have 4 hours to paint a live sitter, a portrait of someone sitting there. And they're the best. They have been selected from their self-portrait that they sent in, and so they're very talented portraiture portrait painters, and wow, it's just mesmerizing to watch them paint and to see their process, and they use all kinds of mediums, and I'm just so inspired. I did a quick maybe I'll show a shot of it, a photo of it, a quick sketch of a person the other day after watching one of the episodes, and oh, I need to practice that. Painting people is a whole other deal, but if it's just so stunning to watch their creativity bloom. And even if you're not a painter, it's fun to watch, I think, because you're just blown away at what they can do. I mean, it is really stunning. It is really stunning. And so, yeah, that's been really fun to watch. Have you watched that? Is that something that you watch or you've seen? It's on Amazon Prime, which is nice. I don't have to pay for it, which is great. Well, I guess actually I am paying for it, aren't I? Yeah, I am. Anyway, I'm using the benefit that I have, which is nice. And it's a great show, and it's done really well. And they go on to paint really famous people. Like whoever wins gets a commission to paint someone really famous. In this series, the second season, they're doing Alan Cummings, who, wow, what a dream to paint him. Anyway, so that's been really fun. That's been occupying my evenings. I have to say, when I usually paint, I paint at night, which is terrible light. It's terrible light, but it's when I have time after work, and then I paint definitely on the weekends during the day. But that show has been taking up a lot of my painting time because I'm watching what they're doing and how they're doing it, and I'm so impressed. And it's just, wow, it's just magic. It's magic to watch other people create, I think, and I just love it. I just love it. If you've seen it, let me know, and if you haven't and you want to check it out, please do. It's so good, so good. Yeah. So this is why I work on multiple things. So now this is wet, so I'm going to take this and set it down here, and pull up a board. Oh, this is a painting that I'm not going to work on today, but this is a painting I have. I don't know if you can tell. It's an octopus I'm working on. This has been down here for weeks, months maybe. But that's not what I'm going to paint, but I want the board in the back. And I'm going to open this. This is a giant moleskin sketchbook. Like, it's huge. It's huge. And so I'm going to set it up here. I'm going to try to do a quick sketch. I had some of this, yeah, I had some of this paint. I'm going to do a quick sketch. We have millions of rabbits in our yard. Millions. Okay, not millions, but a lot of rabbits in our yard. And they are so brave. They're not afraid at all, at all of us, which I love and also am amazed at because, they're hunted by coyotes. So I would like them to be a little bit more nervous, but they're not. they're not nervous in the slightest. They they just go for it and just sit there and watch me. And then they go decimate my garden and eat almost everything. And I've been drawing them in the yard, and I thought, oh, it might be fun to kind of draw them, paint a quick sketch, paint a quick, of them, and put them in my sketchbook. I love this sketchbook because the paper is cream. I love a cream paper, and the actual weight of it is really excellent. And so it's just really easy to work on and really easy to use. And so, rabbit. I do paint a lot of animals. I do. I paint a lot of animals, but usually with crowns on them. I have this whole series that I'm creating called, what is it called? Oh, I'm not sure now. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I have this whole series that I'm doing of these of animals that are in they're in sort of like stylized, I guess you would say, and I love them because they're really fun. If I think about it, I'll drop a picture in here of what they look like. But they have crowns. That's what makes them different. They have crowns, and so I do paint a lot of, and they're tighter. They're much tighter than this. This is just a rough sketch, but you see it, right? You see the rabbit. You see that coming together. Isn't that fun? It's fun. Yeah, I've really enjoyed them in the yard, and I don't know. I should probably do some better homage to them because they're just so cute, and I do love them. I do love them. So this would be sort of an underpainting. This isn't anything final, of course. That's just the sketch, and kind of do that quickly, and then this would dry, and then I might paint over it. But because it's in the sketchbook, it might just always end up just being the sketch. But it is fun to just quickly create something like that. Just quickly, get an idea and then be able to do it. So I think I said, I don't know if I was clear, I didn't start painting till I was 50. And so and I never thought I could draw. I had a elementary school teacher tell me I couldn't, and then I just didn't, even though the work that I do is in commercial art, but that's on the computer and it's not the same. Anyway, it wasn't until I was 50 that I even decided that I could paint. So I have a lot of fun with it. I do have a lot of fun with it. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is the idea of how often you should create if you're a creator. Like if you're a painter or a writer or potter, any of the things that are, creative, how often should you be doing that? Like, what is the right amount? And I am of the belief that a little bit every day is the best strategy. And some people would say, oh no, you have to wait till you're inspired, right? Or you're waiting for some kind of muse or something. And that is not how it works for me. Yes, it's nice to be inspired, and I do have moments where it's like I must paint this thing, like just the quick drawing of the rabbits. That was in my mind for multiple days, and so I just had to do it. But that isn't that isn't enough. If I waited just for that, if I waited for just inspiration to hit, right, then I probably would never paint. Like I would just not do it. I would, yeah, I don't think I would do it because it doesn't happen that often. It's not every day that you're like, I am so inspired. So my theory is that what's best is to do a little bit every day, even if it's terrible. Just it's all right. Now, especially with painting, terrible is all right because you can usually work yourself out of terrible. That gives you something to respond to. It's almost the same with writing. I'm a writer and can write terrible, and then you just edit and delete and work through something. But if you don't have anything to work through, then you don't get that process. So a little bit every day, which is why I said oftentimes I have about 15 minutes at night to paint. And so I just do it for 15 minutes. I don't wait for some super inspiration or flash or muse or the best idea. I just put paint on the brush and put it on the canvas or paper or board or whatever it is I'm working on and just go for it. And it doesn't have to be great. So I think what's important to understand is that creating bad work is okay. You never know. That thing may work itself out to being great work, but if you don't even try, it never gets that opportunity. And so, yeah, I absolutely believe that we should be making bad work. We should be making mediocre work. We should be making work that we're not quite sure of. We should just be making. And so, a little bit every day is what works for me. What works for you? I'd be curious, like what your process is, or how often you're creating, or what stops you. I mean, that might be interesting too. I'd love to talk more about that because I think that oftentimes people just don't really think they have the time. And that I think that can be worked out because if your supplies are set up and ready, if you have a place for that, or in a box that you can quickly open, then that's not a hurdle. But I'd love to work through some of those hurdles if you have some and talk about how often you're creating, how often you want to be creating, and what might be blocking you from creating. Let's talk about it. I'm super interested. I'm going to set this one down because it's wet. And I thought I would pull up this. I worked on this in the last video, and I think they're complete. I need to trim off. I have to do some trimming here of this tissue paper. Gives you a better idea. And I might want to put something here, but I'm waiting because I'm not quite sure. But I think they're complete, and I'm pretty happy with them. And this went through multiple stages. This went from I'm loving it, I'm hating it, I'm loving it, I'm not loving it. And so that's why I say that creativity allows you that opportunity to like keep pushing through. Now, granted, sometimes it just gets so muddy and messy, or whatever you've created is really just really terrible, and so you scrap it. That's okay. I just put it in the pile and it just lives there in the pile. I never throw anything away because it shows process and progress, and I think that's important. But this definitely went through those stages, and I shared a bit in the community posts as these were going on. This had a blue vase. I painted over it and went back to a teapot, and yeah, so it's been fun to sort of see the process and what would become of these, but I'm pretty pleased now with how they are. And again, a little trimming, and then they'll be ready for sale, which is great. Or in theory, they'll probably just go up on the wall here because I like that too. But yeah, I just think working it out, working through that process, of it's not good, and just keep pushing it is part of the creative process, and I love that process actually. Yeah, yeah. So that's a good example of that, I think, because they were really terrible. They were really, really terrible. And now I'm kind of at a place where I like it, which is all that truly matters. So we're a society that is so focused on product, finished product, that's sellable. And I think in creativity, especially in art making, you have to create work that is pushing you and that you are working through something, um, uh, style, process, internal feelings, whatever that might be. And so it's important to just create it. It doesn't matter if the product is something that you're going to love in the end. That's not really what it's about. The process is possibly more important than the product. And so, yeah, I think we don't talk about that enough. And so, tell me where you are in your creative journey. I'd love to hear. And thanks so much for joining me today. It's been really fun to be able to invite people into my studio because it's at home, and we live really pretty remotely. I don't have anyone ever in here except family, and they're always super supportive because they're family. But it's nice to have you. It's really nice to have you, and I enjoy inviting you in once a week, and you can kind of see what I'm working on and what I've developed or what I haven't, and we'll keep going. We'll keep going week to week and see what happens on the easel or maybe on the table, or who knows? Who knows? So thank you so much, and if you enjoyed it, you know what to do.